No worries, Anush.
Yeah. Just using this async pipe without even doing the subscription, we can directly get the value using async in the HTML. Okay. Now, let me just update this observer. Okay, this behavior subject. What I will do, I will do this dot sample behavior subject. How to update a value for an behavior subject? Using
Next
this
you
method,
next
next
next.
method. Okay. And suppose if I give, it's giving error, right? Why?
Yes, Anisha.
Why it is giving an error?
It number you will
We
use.
need, we need to give only number. Okay. Then let me give 10, and you will what will be visible in the screen in the web page? Number 5 or number 10?
10 will be visible.
When,
Will
Anusha?
be visible. Okay. Any doubt so far?
No doubt.
No,
No,
Anush.
Anusha.
Even same with the subjects. Okay. Let me create one sample subject, and it is of type subject, and it is of type, let me say string. Okay. And let us give some name. uh, okay. And now how to use it? How to use it in the HTML? Using what?
Sample
Dot next.
double curly braces sample subject.
Double curly braces,
Sample subject.
sample subject. Okay. And then
Pipe symbol.
pipe symbol and
Asynchronous.
async. Very good. Okay. And if you just see nothing is printed, why? If you just see nothing is printed, why?
We cannot assigning any number or name.
We didn't give any value to this subject. How to assign a value to the subject?
Dot next.
This dot sample subject dot next of, okay.
Number.
No, I said it's a string now.
Yes, yes, Anusha. Okay.
Okay.
Asynchronous.
Hmm. I guess there is an issue, but what happened? Let me tell you. Uh, it has been rendered even before we have. It has been rendered after, even before we have assigned some value. I guess that's why it's not showing. Let me check this tomorrow and come back to you. Okay, regarding why subject was not working with async pipe. Okay, is
Okay.
it fine?
Yes,
Yeah, it's
Anusha.
okay, Anush.
Yeah. So this is how the async pipe works. Now, let me talk about routing. Okay. So we will be, for routing, we will be creating one file called app-routing.module.ts. Okay. It is also a module file. That's why we will be decorating with @ of ng module decorator, but it will differ from normal modules. Okay. Here, what you will do, here you will be giving the routes. Suppose if I hit this path, which component should be loaded? Okay, that will be written here, and this will take in an array format. Okay, so for initial root module, you will use something called router module dot for routes. This router module is used for doing the routing, and this for route is used for the initial routing module file, and you will pass some routes to it. For example, if you give the path as first component, then the first component will get loaded. If you give the path as second component, then second component will get loaded. If you give the path as product, then the product component will get loaded. Okay. If you give the path as the third, then the third component will get loaded. Let me just tell you what exactly how it is happening. Okay. For example, let us go to app component.html file. Okay. And here what I have done, I have created one nav bar. Let me just uncomment this everything. Or let me just take this code. Okay. So here what I have done, here I have created one nav bar. Nav bar meaning this is called as one nav bar. You will be routing to different pages now. So this is called one nav bar. Or if you take W3 schools, you will see something here, right? This home, introduction, these are all things kept in one gray color thing. Am I correct? So this is called was nav bar. Okay. These can be created by using one tag called nav tag. Okay. And in this nav, what we are doing, we are creating, what is this UL? What is this UL tag?
Unordered list.
Unordered list.
Unordered list. In that you created one unordered list, and what are these?
List
Line
items.
item.
Sorry?
List
Line items.
List items. Okay. Each list item is an anchor link, if you can see. Since we have denoted with anchor tag. Am I correct? Am I
Yes,
correct?
Anusha.
Yeah. What is the first anchor link name?
First component.
First component.
Second anchor link name?
Second
Second component.
What is the third one?
Third component.
Third component. Okay. So what happened here means you are giving something called router link. Okay. This is where you will give the path. Okay. You are giving / first component. So whatever piece of path you are giving here, it should exactly match in your routing module. Okay. So with which array element it matches? So what I'm trying to tell you, yeah, hope this is clear now. Am I correct? So I have given the first component path. You can see some path here, right? / first component. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, Anusha.
So we are telling, if you are clicking on this anchor link, route to router link will be first component. Okay. So exactly it should match the path here. Whatever we are defined. What is this? It's an array of objects. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes.
So in that,
Yes,
what
sir.
is the first parameter?
First component.
First component.
Path.
Path. Path.
First component. Suppose if this first component matches with the first element of the array, which is the first component, then these corresponding component will get rendered in our screen. Okay. And if you are seeing the second component, so if it matches with this path, then second component will get rendered. Suppose if I say third, okay, then if it matches with the third, then which component will get rendered?
Third component.
Third component will get rendered. Okay. Let me just show you what is there in those components as well. Okay. You can see first component. See, first works. This is there in the HTML. That's it. Okay. Let me just show you in the browser. Are you able to see these three? First component, second component, third component. Are you able to see?
Yes, Anush.
Okay. Suppose if I click on the first component, then what? This particular component will get loaded and this paragraph you will see it in the web page. Okay. Is it understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Let me click on the first component. You are seeing first works? Are you able to see?
Yes, Anusha.
Suppose if I click on the second component, which is the second link, then which component will get rendered?
Second component.
Second component. Let me show you what is there in the second component.html. Second works. Okay. So what you are doing, you are switching to the next page, which means you are clicking second component. Now what is shown? Second works. If you are clicking on third component, what is shown? Third component routing and third component works. Understood?
Yes, Anush.
So this is how you will do routing using anchor links in the HTML. Okay. First, what you have done, you have created some anchor links in your app component and you will be giving some path. Suppose, let me remove this first. Okay. And let me just save it and let me just show you here. So does this match first matches with any of the routes?
No, Anush.
No.
No.
So what will happen when you are trying to click this first component, right? This first doesn't match it with any of these routes and we will get error. Okay. Let me just show you that even. Are you able to see?
Yes, Anush.
See, cannot match any routes URL segment first. Cannot match any routes URL segment first, which means that suppose if you are changing anything here, then corresponding route path you need to give it here. Understood?
Anush, your voice is there's some disturbances there.
Is it fine now?
Yes, Anusha. It's better now.
Okay, okay. So you understood, right? So whatever path you are giving here, it should exactly match in the routing module. Then only that corresponding module will get rendered in the browser. Any doubts? I'm so sorry, everyone. I had some bad network issue. So you understood the concept, right? Whatever router link you are giving here, it should exactly match with the first component and exactly match with the path here. And that particular component will get rendered in the browser. Any doubt so far?
No, Anusha.
Okay. Voice is clear, right? It's still breaking.
Yeah, it's okay, Anusha.
It's better now, Anusha.
Okay. So apart from this, okay, we can even do routing from the TS file. Okay, till now whatever routing I have told in case of anchor links, am I correct? So in case of anchor link, if you are clicking that particular anchor link, then where it should route to. Apart from that, we can even do routing from our TS files. Okay, let me just do it.
Hi, Anusha. We are losing you again. You are
Oh,
not pretty much audible.
okay. Are you able to hear me now? Able to hear me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, Anusha.
Okay. Now see, let me create one button. Okay. And let me just copy this. What is the button name here?
Do routing.
Button name.
Button name. Parent button.
This button name. What is the button name here?
This button is for routing.
Button is for routing. Are there any event handlers attached for this button?
Yes,
Click.
Anusha. Click is
Event. Whenever a button is clicked, what is happening?
It is
Whenever
doing. It is
It's
doing routing.
invoking.
is invoking, do
Do
routing.
routing. Routing.
Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Where to check this method? Where will be the function declaration for this method will be available? In which file?
The TS file, Anusha.
Yeah, very good. So it will be present in app component.ts file. Okay. So what is defined in this method? This dot router dot navigate. Okay. Let me just tell you what is it actually. In order to do routing in the TS file, you need to use something called router. Okay. That you need to import. Okay. This router has to be injected into the constructor, and this router provides one method called navigate. Okay. Suppose if you give the navigate and the path, it will route to that corresponding component. Okay. Now let me just show you, and let me just show you the routing module file itself. Okay. Now I will do this dot router dot navigate. Okay. And I am giving here the path as product. Okay. Now, whenever I click to the button, this function will be invoked, and this is the path where it is matching in the routes.
Product component.
Product. So which component? Product component will be loaded. Am I correct?
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, Anusha.
Yes, Anusha.
Let me just show you here. So you are able to see this button is for routing, right? Let me click on this button. You see product works is shown.
Yes.
Yes.
Suppose whenever this button is clicked, if I want to navigate to the first component, then how should I modify this line?
First, you will give slash first.
Slash for the just first, or what? Tell me the complete path.
First component. This dot route dot
This
navigator.
dot router dot navigate. In the array, you will give quotations
Slash
first
component.
component. Okay. Now, whenever this button is clicked, what will happen? The first component will get rendered in the browser. Any doubts?
No doubt.
No, Anush.
How we will be doing the routing in case of TS file and in case of the HTML. Okay. In case of TS, what you will do? You will just import the router. You will just inject it in the constructor and you will do this navigate method and you will give the path. For corresponding to this path, you need to define the routes. Suppose if I am doing the routing, if the path matches to which component it should render, that component information we will be giving it. Any doubt so far?
No, Anush.
In case of HTML, what we will give? We will give something called router link and we will give the path. If it matches, that particular component will get rendered. Otherwise, if it doesn't match, what will happen?
It will show an error.
It will show the error. Very good. Okay. This is how we do the routing in the Angular. And let me tell you about ng container. Okay. And I even wanted to show you ng on destroy lifecycle hook. Okay. Let me just quickly show that to you. Suppose this is the first component. You're seeing, right? It implemented on destroy interface and it provided this method ng on destroy. In this, what we are doing? We are doing console.log of ng on destroy of the first component. Understood, right?
Yes, Anshu.
Now let me show you here. Okay. I have just loaded this component. Okay. It's already routed. Give me a minute. Give me a minute. Now, are you able to see this ng on destroy in the console log? No, right? If it is
No,
there,
Anush.
it will be highlighted with yellow color. Okay. Now I will show you. If I click on this button, what happens? You can see the URL path here, first component, and the first component is getting rendered in the browser. Okay. Whenever I am leaving this first component to another component, this ng on destroy lifecycle hook will get triggered. I want to show you that. Okay. Let me click on the second component so that it will go to the second component. Okay. You can see ng on destroy of first component called. Are you able to see?
Yes, Anshu.
So
Yes,
this ng
Yes,
on
Anshu.
destroy lifecycle hook will get triggered when the component is about to get destroyed. In case of routing, the first component was about to destroy. That's why it ng on destroy first component got triggered. Okay. And let me also show you one more quick example. So what is there in the ng on init here? What function is written here? Just read out what is happening in the ng on init lifecycle hook.
ng on init for first component.
Okay, it will print this console log. Then what is happening?
we set interval.
Okay, we are doing set interval. Okay. What this set interval is?
Just printing I am interval after 1 second.
For 1 second.
For every
After
1 second, I
Not
am,
every 1 second.
yeah, for every 1 second, this function will get executed, which will print this console log. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yes, Anush.
Let me show you. Okay. So go to initial page. Okay. And let me just show you whether this life cycle hook got triggered or not. Okay. So what you are seeing, you are not seeing this, right? It's not available here. Am I correct?
Yes, Anshu.
Now let me just do. If I click on the first component, you can see ng on init of first component got printed, and for every 1 second IAM interval is getting printed. Am I correct?
Yes,
Yes,
Anush.
Anush.
11 times, 12 times, 13 times, 14, 15, right? For every 1 second, this console log will be keep on printing. Suppose let us navigate to different component now. Okay, let us navigate to second component. You're still seeing the set interval is happening. Am I correct?
Yes, Anush.
Yes, Anush.
See, on destroy is also useful when if we want to clear these intervals. Okay, whenever we are moving away from this component, we can clear this interval. And basically, those kind of stuff we will be doing in the ng on destroy. Okay, what you will do, you will just do clear interval of, you will give the reference variable where you have assigned this set interval. Okay, now let me just save it. Okay, and let me just rerun this. Okay. Now you can see, sorry, IAM interval is getting printed, right?
Yes, Anush.
Yes.
Yes, Anush.
The second component. Are you seeing the IAM interval again getting printed?
No.
For this purpose, we will be using ng on destroy. If you want to clear any intervals or if you want to do any subscription, any unsubscriptions, okay. If we want to print anything when the component is about to destroy, then we will be using this ng on destroy lifecycle hook. Any doubts?
No, Anush. No.
No dot, Anush.
Okay, okay. How to do routing?
Using route. com- It is inject in constructor.
We can do the routing in two ways, one from the HTML and one from TS. Am I correct? So in TS, using anchor links, you can do the routing. Am I correct? If you click on that link, where we need to navigate. Am I correct? For that anchor link, what you will be using, where you will give the path, you will assign it to one attribute called
Router link.
router link. You will assign the path to one attribute called router link. And where this path will be there, in which file?
.ts file.
.ts file or .routing module.ts file?
Routing
Dot
dot
routing dot
dot
module.
Which decorator we will be using for app routing.module.ts?
At the rate of ng module.
Since it's a module, we will be using at the rate of ng module decorator only. Okay. And what you will contain here, you will define the routes here in an array of objects format. Okay. What will be the each object contain?
Path and first component.
Component. So if this is the path, which component should get rendered? If this is the path, which component should get rendered? Am I correct? And for this, you will be using something called router module dot for route. For route is used for the route routing module. Okay. For suppose if you are creating any other module, any other routing module, then it will be like router module dot for child of routes will be added. So exports we will give so that these routes will be added to this router module, and that particular router module will be imported to other routing module. And again, some more routes will be added to the existing routes and will be again imported like that. Okay, let me just show you one sample example of the project. Okay, so that you will better understand. Okay, So app routing module is the root routing module. That's why you contain something called dot for root. Okay. Suppose if you check any other routes, what is used? What is used here?
For child.
For child.
Per child. Okay. For root routing module, you will be using for root, which means for this routing module, these routes will be added, and this particular that added routes, right, that will be exported. And this other routing modules will again import that particular router module. And in addition to the existing routes, these routes will get added and those will be exported. That is the meaning. Understood what I am trying to tell you? Suppose in the root component, it contains two parts and two components. Those routes were added to this router module and that router module is exported. Suppose if this same router module is getting imported in any other routing module, what will happen? Already two routes and two parts with two modules will be there. In addition, we will be giving some more routes like this. Those will be added and totally 4 routes will be present and this router module will be exported. Any doubts? Any doubt? Understood?
No, Anush.
Understood, right? Kavya, Teja, Vishal. I will explain it once more in the tomorrow's class. Okay, don't worry. I will explain
Yes,
it once more.
the last thing only you need to explain.
Yeah. So what I am trying
Yes,
to tell, you are understanding, right? These are all the parts. Am I correct?
yes, sir.
So these are all parts are assigned to which variable?
Routes.
Routes is the equal to is called assignment operator, right? All these paths
Yes,
were assigned to this route. Okay. These routes you have added to the router module. This router module is responsible for the navigation purpose. Okay. So you are giving for root dot routes, which means that this is the initial routing module. So you will be keep on navigating to other pages. Am I correct?
yes, Anusha.
So these particular routes were added to this router module and we are exporting that particular module. Okay. In the other files, okay. Suppose if you are giving like this, right? So it is the meaning is that this routes, these routes plus these routes combination is this router module. You understood?
Yes, Anusha.
Instead of creating a new router module, already existing routes will be there. In addition to that, we are adding for child, which means that these additional routes will get added to the existing routes. And this router module contains totally these many routes. Okay. For example, if we go it here, what will happen? Now, all these routes will be carried to this particular routing module. Okay. Plus addition, that addition how we are doing? Using this statement, router module dot for child. And again, we are exporting that router module. Still doubt or understood?
Understood, Anusha.
Understood.
Kavya, Janti,
Understood.
Understood.
okay. For that purpose, you will be using something called for root and for child. If you use for root, it is the initial router module which is being created. If you are using for child, to already existing routes, you are adding some more routes. That is the meaning. Okay. Any doubts?
No,
No,
Anush.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
How to, what is the use of async pipe?
so we can use the async pipe in place of like string interpolation directly in the HTML file.
No, 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 no. No,
Like,
no.
without using.
Like dot this and subscribe.
behavior
Without subscribing
sample.
to an observable, automatic subscription is done by the Angular using async pipe. Okay. without just explicitly doing dot subscribe, you can get the value from an observable using async pipe. For that purpose, you are using the async pipe. Okay, that you will do it in the HTML. That is the only difference. Okay.
Yes, Anusha.
Okay. How many ways you can do the routing?
2 ways.
Okay. One is from HTML and another is from
TS.
TS.
Do
In
that.
the HTML, what you will give?
You will give the anchor
Anchor
link.
links.
Anchor links with what is the attribute you will be using?
Router
Router link.
Router link is the attribute. To the router link, what you will give?
custom.
Path
We will
you will
define
be
path.
giving. You will define the
Path and com.
where the path for this particular string will be defined.
Dot
In
TS.
routing.ts.
App routing dot module dot ts file. So what will be there? You will contain route with the path and the component. Okay. And you will be having
Yes.
the router module, and which is used for attaching the route to the router module. Which method?
For route.
Per route method. Suppose if it is another routing module, then how to attach the route?
For child.
For child. Okay. And if you are defining any routing module, no, you will always give some class name. For anything, you will give the class name. This particular routing module will be imported in this routing modules import. So app module is there. There you will give the imports as app routing module. Okay. Any component, any module, anything is declared, anything is created that has to be either declared or imported somewhere or provided somewhere, so that we will not get any error. Understood?
Essential.
Yes.
Yes, Anusha.
Yeah. And how to do routing in the TS?
Do routing.
You need to
Navigate
import,
using navigate.
you need to import router from the Angular router. This router, you need to inject it in the constructor, and it provides a method called navigate, where we need to give the path, and this path should exactly match with the app routing module path, and you will be able to navigate. Any doubt? Practice this and come back for the tomorrow's class. Okay, just show me
Sure.
everything. Okay.
Anusha, how to compile this tag will
You need not to compile, it will be automatically done. You need not, you just need to save it, and you can see like something called opening tab, right? It will do the automatic compilation.
okay, Anusha.
Okay.
Okay.
Any doubts, anyone?
No,
No.
Anusha.
Okay then. Bye everyone. Good night.
Bye, Anusha. Good night.
And
Bye, Anusha. Thank you.